So we'll start the class. So we just try to again out of the 5 people or Ramana or somebody, 304 Ramana, please respond. So yesterday we have been discussing with the surface measuring instruments. Now we put in the chart. Okay. Okay, we'll start the class. And we have already finished the profilometer and the Tomlinson surface meter. So we'll be just moving on to the already have started, but yesterday somebody has logged in when I was doing the class. Then just 4 or 3 minutes were lost. Okay, that is tomorrow. Yesterday's we'll just try to leave it. And today we'll be continuing with the last one, Taylor, Hobson, Talisker. And after that, we'll be discussing the features of this particular surface measuring instruments, or you can say the electronic stylus instruments, or so many names I have told you. Electrical integrating stylus instruments. Okay, here the TaliSurf is a electronic instrument where it is working on the carrier modulating principle. Yesterday we just started that introduction. So this particular instrument is more accurate, you can say, than the Tomlinson's surface meter, because nowadays we can say maybe it is outdated. Only for theoretical purpose we'll just try to study. Beginning they used to use, but with the development of technology, even the Taylor, Hobson, Talisker is not outdated. They may be automated or some particular incorporate some particular additional devices like analyzer, because we have to analyze whatever the surface irregularities we have found. Okay, that is also there. So this instrument, I want to mute. Okay. So this particular instrument will be recording the particular movements of the stylus, and it is a dynamic instrument just like the profilometer. So what is the difference between the profilometer and the Taylor, Hobson, Talisker? Profilometer will be working on the principle of voltage generative type, and here in this particular Taylor, Hobson, Talisker, it is working on the, what is the working principle? Current generative type. So that is the principle. And here we have the measuring head of the instrument, which is a diamond stylus. So that's what we want to study, the features of the stylus, probe, everything. So it has a radius of 2 micron tip, and apart from that we have a skid or shoe, so which will be guiding the particular stylus. The movement of the stylus will be guided by the shoe, by the skid or shoe. So it will be drawn across the particular surface you want to test by means of motorized driving unit. So motorized driving unit, you can have any motor, or you can have a gearbox also for that one. Previously they used to use the driving unit as a gearbox. Nowadays they are going for the synchronous motor. So we can have fix 3 motorized speeds, and we can just go for the horizontal magnification. So the particular magnifications we have as X20 and X100 horizontal magnification, and we can have a speed. We can just like the speedometer in our automobile, we can have a speed for taking the average reading. So that is the particular thing we can have, and this is the particular the components of the Taylor, Hobson, Talisker. Taylor, Hobson, Talisker. So that is the thing, and in the neutral position, whatever the pickup is there, it can be traversed manually. That is the static movement. So in this case, we have a arm, the E-shaped arm core. It is the E-shaped arm core. You can say it forms the armature, and we have two outer legs which are carrying the coils, carrying the coils at its extremities. This is AB and AC, AA and BC, and we have a central leg here. E-shaped stamping. We have a central leg which is having a light gap between the armature and the central leg. So that is the thing, and the two legs already I told you, these are also known as outer pole pieces, and they're carrying the coils. What current they're carrying? Yesterday also we discussed, they're carrying the alternate carrying AC current, not DC. And these two coils, along with the other two resistances we have, along with these two coils we have, these are the two coils, and we have the two resistances. These are the coils, and these are the two resistances which form a Wheatstone bridge circuit, or we can say we can have which can form an oscillator. So what is the role of the oscillator? It will be providing a carrier wave to the Wheatstone bridge. So whenever it is in the static condition, the bridge is balanced, and whenever we try to test this particular instrument for the machine surface, the surface irregularities, the bridge is unbalanced. So as far as this particular portion is concerned, we try to use the amplifier for the amplifying the moments of the stylus. So here the armature is pivoted about the central leg. Here you can say. So actually this is the principle we have to discuss, and this is the working of the Taylor-Hobson Talisker, the diagram. So any movement of the stylus, it will be causing an air gap. The air gap will vary, and the amplitude of this particular AC current, which is the amplitude of the AC current with the coils are carrying, is modulated. So here, before going to the amplifier, the output of this Wheatstone bridge circuit is a carrier wave, and we try to just magnify the moments of the stylus by means of an amplifier, and the output of the amplifier is a modulated carrier wave. Here we are not specifying carrier wave. We can just add to that one in the explanation. So anything in the textbook you try to elaborate, because people why they are not getting marks, they're not drawing neatly with pencil. I've seen in metal cutting, that's what I'm telling. So you will have an advantage to try to explain elaborately. So the output of the bridge will be consisting of a modulated wave only. So this is further, the output of the amplifier is further demodulated. What do you mean by demodulated in the meaning? The Webster's meaning, Webster's dictionary meaning, Wikipedia, whatever it is the smoothing of the waveform. This is the smoothing of the waveform. So the current now will be directly proportional to the vertical movement of the stylus only. So this particular principle we are using. So after the demodulator, so the demodulated output, after it is smoothened the waveform, it is used to operate a pen recorder. We have a pen recorder here. So what is the use of the pen recorder? Just like what is the difference between Tomlinson surface meter and this one? There only a temporary record is there on the small glass screen, only for that particular moment or for that particular hour or for that particular day. But here we have a permanent record. Actually, what is a permanent record? We'll be using an ink and a paper which is known as a Teledotus paper. Here it's not given, but you just try to see in other textbooks like IC Gupta, they have mentioned. So we can have a permanent record of the surface irregularities for that particular test specimen or the particular machine surface, and we can record it just like you are recording the graph on a UTM for the tensile test and compression test. And here you have a meter to give the numerical assessment directly. The numerical assessment of the surface finish can be known by the average meter or the meter. So here in this particular Tomlinson surface meter, though what I told you, ink and Toledo test paper, here we may not have used, but in some of the particular instruments, the advanced instruments, the advanced versions, they are using the ink type, just like the different types of printers we have. We just try to discuss in CAD, CAM test subject. There we are using the inkjet printer or the color printer or now the laser printer. So here we are using the, here as far as the textbook knowledge is concerned, the recorder of this instrument, the particular instrument is a marking medium, is having an electric discharge. So we are using, for that particular electric discharge, we have a specially treated paper. So what happens, it blackens at the points of the stylus. So we will not have any distortion or disturbance. Distortion is a word which we common use in strength of materials or in the welding, because after welding, the piece will having the welding distortion. So initially the stresses may be there in the parent material, but you have to relieve the stresses before welding. That is the precautions you have to take. You might have studied in the manufacturing process of production technology. So anything, not only welding, it may be metal working or any other forging or stamping or drawing or extrusion, we try to take care of that one. So the record, whatever we take, as far as the surface irregularities are concerned, we have a rectilinear recorder type. So this instrument is a rectilinear recorder type. It will be following a straight path. Straight path. Okay, straight path means it's not it will be showing the peaks and valleys according to the machine surface. For the roughness, it is having a small wavelength, and for the waviness, it will be having a larger wavelength irregularities. Like sound, we'll try to define the parameters for that one, like wavelength, amplitude, and amplitude will be half of wavelength, or some of the things we'll try to discuss or analyze. So nowadays, we are using the PLCs, or we are using the programming logical controllers, or we can use the microprocessors because of the integration of the mechanical branch with the electronics. We can have that mechatronics branch in mechatronics subject, or separate branch for that one. So we'll be having the particular the statistical, we can say, multi-trace systems. So we can trace at several places for a given area. So what is the advantage of using microprocessors is that one. And we can provide by using the statistical tools like SPSS or the regression softwares like Minitab or MATLAB. So again, it is an integration of again mechanical and electrical. Nowadays, MATLAB is being used for different projects and the BTech and MTech also, and even for the research work. There we can have we can study that when we can analyze, and we can have the standard deviations, and we can calculate the standard deviations and variance also. So we might have studied the statistical tools in your intermediate stage or in your BTech M1, M2, and M3, M4. So whatever it is. So that is the systems. So this particular systems, additional systems we try to incorporate will be helping us in the research applications, where we can write special programs, just like the CNC part program for the particular machining, for a lathe or a milling or a drilling. So we can achieve automation by using the specialized devices, and we can have the correlation data, or whatever it is, we can have that the precision up to 99.99% instead of 96 or somewhat like that, or 95. So we can have that power spectrum also. Well, we can go for the spectrum analysis, that we can just study in the tool monitoring also. So whenever a tool is new, the power spectrum will be different, and whenever it is wearing out and just before failure of the tool or breakage of the tool, the power spectrum will be different. That means it is drawing more power from the spindle, because you can say when we try to calculate the spindle torque, P is equal to 2 pi T by 60, and the torque is a function of the force, the cutting force into radius of the tool, like that. Okay, somebody has raised hand. Who's 372? I think he has started with me. Any problem? You can put in the chart again. Can you hear me? Or the screen is not visible? So all these are the latest technologies we are trying to discuss. Not only microprocessors, we can incorporate the programmable logical controllers. We can interface them, and we can use a special software for the definite movements of the stylus, like Automation Studios, that we want to purchase, but COVID has come. Actually, if we purchased, we would have been very useful for the mechatronics lab and the hydraulics and pneumatics lab, which we are using near the library. So that is the thing. So don't raise a hand for the sake. You can just chart, or you can unmute yourself and ask, because that is a practice mostly used in the problematic subjects, or you can put in the chart your particular doubt. So what is the features? We'll just try to discuss the features of the electronic stylus instruments or the surface measuring instruments. So we are using a phonograph needles in some cases, because they are found to be large and to some heavily loaded, so it can cause damage. Previously they used to use that, and now they are going for the diamond stylus or styli. Styli is a plural word for stylus. We are using because along with the instrument, the Taylor Hobson, they give the different type of styli having different radius of the tip, and they give a manual also how to use the styli for a particular application or for the particular test specimens which are machined for a particular value of surface finish, because there may be casting, or there may be lathe machine you try to use, or a cylindrical grinding machine, or the super finishing machine, like that. And some of these diamond stylus have cones of 90 degrees. That included angle, we have a angle of 90 degrees, and the tip radius is 4 to 12 microns. The range is from the minimum radius is 4 to, and the maximum radius is 12 microns. So we have different radius, different styli that is provided along with the instrument. And some of the popular styli, we have a truncated pyramid that is shown in some of the figure. I'll just try to show you in the next figure. So the angle between the spaces is 90 degrees. So that's why it's known as truncated pyramid. So just try to see in this particular figure the stylus, and half of this particular 90 degrees is 45. So that direction of direct travel they are given, just like a pyramid. And the short edge is parallel. Whatever short edge you have, it's parallel to this particular direction of motion of the stylus. And the stylus has some particular value for which it can detect. So it cannot go beyond a wavelength which is less than 6 microns. So starting from 6 to above 6 microns only, it can detect the surface irregularities. So we'll just try to design that particular stylus for that particular wavelength which is greater than 6 microns only. And we try to integrate that particular stylus over a narrow strip of surface, that particular 8 microns width. Because all this, we just try to give the specifications for the, just like the machine setting, because the setting of any particular instrument just before you try to measure as well as the instrumentation, or in case of a CNC, computer numerical control, you try to go for the machine setting by trying to include all the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis. So that is how you try to go for the offset setting, the tool offset setting, and just like the tool offset setting in the different directions x, y, and z axis. Because the background theory is there, we try to study the closed loop control system, where we are having the servo motors in the x-axis, y-axis, and z-axis to control the motion of the machine tool. But here we try to, the operator who was trained as far as this particular Taylor Hobson Talisoff or the profilometer or the Tomlinson surface meter will take care of the instrumentation setting. So this particular stylus, whatever we are having, it will sometimes fail to follow the peaks and valleys faithfully. Because if you are not going for the correct setting, faithfully means sincerely, and it will not give a correct record of the surface irregularities. It will give a distorted record. So we cannot rely. So that's why we have to go for the choosing of the correct stylus for the particular production method which we have used to obtain that surface finish. That's very important. And the dimensions of the stylus are infinite. So also the load on it. So we'll try to see the load also should not exceed the 70 milligram force. That's very important parameter we have to select. And for a small contact, that's also not advisable. The local pressure will be sufficiently high, and will be, instead of measuring, instead of the stylus going for the integrated movement, it will cause a elastic deformation downwards, and it will give a distorted record, and it will not give a correct record of the surface irregularities or correct measurement of the surface irregularities. Just like the machine tool parameters or the machining parameters like feed speed and depth, the radius of the tip is important, and the load milligram, that 70 milligram force, it should not exceed that particular value. And sometimes according to the production method or the specimen also, it may be less than that also. So when this is the replica method is not there, I want to go to the features of the stylus instruments. And before that, already we have discussed this sampling length in one of the PPT. For milling, the symbol is M, turning P, grinding G, and everything. And what are the sampling length values? Already we have discussed this, so I remember. So we will go for the analysis of surface traces. Already we have seen, but I want you, if we want to repeat this particular topic, this root mean square or the center line average or the arithmetic average, I'll again repeat before problems, or tomorrow directly go to the problems, we can say, and I'll try to complete it on Monday, and Thursday onwards we'll try to go for the 5th unit, the screw thread terminology. As far as the 5th unit is concerned, we have screw thread and gear terminology. So just we'll try to see that. This also we are finished. So what is the information we have to give to the statements of surface roughness also? This also we discussed, because we have 12 grades, but I have not discussed this table. N12, we have the highest value of surface roughness in RA, average roughness index. The roughness symbol is like this one. It's of the wavy form. Though it's looking like a hyphen, but it's of wavy form. So N11 and N10, half of that one, 50, half of that 25, and 12.5. So we have a single inverted triangle symbol. So we have to use a roughness symbol for the, just like a unit is RA, we have a symbol for that one. And for N9, N8, and N7, we have 6.3, 3.2, and 1.6. because half of 12.5 is 6.25. We are rounding off to 6.3, and half of 6.3 is 3.15, 3.2, just like that. So N9 and N8 and N7, we have N9 is 6.3, N8 is 3.2, and N7. So we have two inverted triangles. We should join this at the top because it is not shown here, or due to the different thing, we are just trying to expand this. So you try to remember this small things, because some internet problem may come before starting the class, or current problem. We are in a hurry to start the class. We may not be zooming. So just try to ask us or put in the chart. N6, N5, and 4, we have 0.8, 0.4, 0.2. It is easy to remember. Already I have given you a hint how to remember. So it is the three inverted triangles. N6 is 0.8, N5 is 0.4. This is a very important thing for because all this particular N1 to N12 grades are divided into 5 groups as specified by the Bureau of Indian Standards. It's not British Indian Standard. Some may write like that. Bureau of Indian Standard, BIS. So this table is giving the relationship between the roughness grade, the commonly used values of roughness values, and the roughness symbol. So we have the N3, N2, N1, 0.1, 0.05, and 0.0025. So closely observe these values. All are half of that, and we have just taken this instead of 6.25, 6.3, instead of 3.15, 3.2, and here onwards 3.2 half, 1.6 by 2, 0.8, like that we have seen. So we have the 4 inverted triangles. What is the meaning of 4 inverted triangles? We try to give a value which is small, means it is super finishing for the honing and lapping. So we have related this to in one of the tables in the other slide also. Previously we discussed this also, but this particular values we have not discussed. We only discussed first two columns we have discussed. The roughness symbols we have not discussed. The inverted triangles. As per the Bureau of Indian Standards, it is divided into 5 groups. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So just try to remember for the knowledge sake. So we have the manufacturing process also. So we have the casting, sand casting, permanent mold casting, the subclassification of the casting, die casting, high pressure casting. What are the values you can take? 250 is the highest value. The range is 5 to 50, minimum to maximum. Permanent mold casting 0.8 to 6.3. So by this you can ascertain the symbol also. You can have another column here and try to have the symbol. So if you try to fix the particular value of sand casting, the particular value, suppose it is 50. Suppose it is 50, what it will be? It is waviness. Suppose it is 25, it is single inverted triangle. Like that, the range you can see. Okay, so 5 to 50. So it's permanent mold casting, same like that, and you can incorporate already given a hint. You can give a column there and try to give the roughness symbol also for that one. For die casting 0.8 to 3.2. So like that we can give the RA values for the different metal working processes. Like in hot working, we have the hot rolling, forging, in the extrusion, we have the flame cutting, sawing, and chipping. So we can apply the surface finish like that also. So the hot rolling 2.5 to 50. So this is only a table which are giving you knowledge as far as how much value of the roughness, surface roughness value is concerned. Okay, then we have the machining operation. In the machining operation, we have a number of things starting from the radial cutoff sawing. Maximum value have 6.3, hand grinding, disc grinding, filing, by using different files, flat file, triangular file, the planing, shaping, drilling, turning and milling. All these are the machining operations. For knowledge sake only, don't panic that you have to by heart these tables. But the previous one, somewhat you try to just have a thorough understanding of the previous table. So other one, the grinding and super finishing operation, we can have the surface grinding, cylindrical grinding, honing, lapping, polishing, burnishing, super finishing. So all this we have a definite honing. You just try to see the value 0.025. So you can see in lapping also 12 microns. Okay, but in polishing it is only 40 microns. Polishing and burnishing. So the ranges for polishing is 0.04 to 0.16, and for this one is 0.04 to 0.8. So finishing have 0.16 to 0.32. So just try to have an understanding of this one, because the particular values of the surface roughness we can expect from various manufacturing processes or the different production methods. So the production method, that symbol I have shown you in the previous slide, at the top we try to have. In the triangular portion where we have a 60 degrees angle, we try to include the surface roughness value, and below the production method we will try to include the sampling length, and the right side of the roughness value try to include the lay. That if we come across, we'll just try to discuss that also in this particular slides. So lay already we have discussed, parallel or straight or the cross lay. We have different lays. Okay, here you might have used that other words like crisscross. So what are the preferred values of RA and RZ he has given? RA for the roughness index and RZ for the, what we have told, 10-point height of irregularities method. We try to take 5 highest peaks and 5 highest values. 5 plus 5, 10. So we'll be doing problems you can understand at that point. Because in metrology, I already told you, we should not take on satisfied with a few values. We have to take the average of this roughness heights, y1, y2, y3 plus on till yn, or h1 plus h2 plus on till hn. And for RMS values, we have to take the square root of the squares, y1 square plus y2 square plus y3 square plus on till yn square by n. And I want to tell you one important note for the relation between the RMS and the CLA value. For the sine wave form, for only sine wave form only, try to listen carefully. The RMS value is 1.11 CLA value. 1.11 times the CLA value. So if any problem is given, don't panic, because if you try to calculate the CLA value and we want RMS value, the ordinates are not given, you can calculate by this formula. So what is the selection of sampling length? We have seen this also. We don't repeat, because we have given for the machine services and non-machine services. So what we have gone for the drawing, extrusion, molding and ultra and polishing, all these are non-machine surfaces. We have metalworking surfaces, and machining, we are using the specific machine tools. For milling, we are going for the milling machine, boring, vertical boring, horizontal boring, turning, lathe, grinding, cylindrical grinding, and planing, planer, reaming tools, broaching tools, diamond boring, diamond turning, honing tools, lapping tools, all that. So it's only suitable sampling lengths you try to observe. So actually, the shorter the value, the finer is the surface finish, already I told you, and the larger the value, it is of the coarser grade for a given process, or a machining process or a production method. So already we have discussed that also. We have a low surface roughness value for the honing and lapping, like that. So this we'll try to skip. I want to exactly go to that one, because meanwhile I want to discuss the tables also. So here we'll just try to keep. So keeping all the other discussions here, we have already studied the particular things what we have tried to have. So what is the stylus? So we are going for the features one by one for short answers. So what is the stylus? What is the function of the stylus? It's a graphical recording. Normally it has a radius of the tip as minimum of 3 microns, and maximum already we have discussed before, maybe up to 12 microns. And it is used for the determination of the average roughness index, RA value. and use the stylus of the probe in the direct reading instruments. We have discussed yesterday and today the three types: profilometer and the Taylor-Hobson Taliescope, and the nominal radius of the tip should be of 10 microns. So, though I told, okay, this some tolerance we give, some as much as 30% for the machining to test the test specimen, and as much as 20% for the calibration purpose. So don't give wider tolerance for the calibration. You lessen the tolerance. Okay, that previously I have discussed. So the variation in the tip radius of the stylus, already what we are just discussing, it has come. It's 30% for the nominal dimension. There is a tolerance we give, or we can have in microns. It's 3 microns. So whichever is greater, we'll try to take. But for calibration, it should be less than 30%. So the shank, whatever we are having, so the stylus should be either conical or pyramidal, just like the tool shank. And in either case, whatever it is, the included angle of the cone should not exceed that 90 degrees angle. So that is the thing you have to discuss about the stylus. And what is the maximum force of the stylus? So already I told you that previously somewhere there you might have given some particular 30 milligrams, but you can give directly that or maximum is 30. And how you can calculate? By including the radius of the tip, by including that radius of the tip in square, tip radius in micron square into 0.016. There's a formula for that one. So it is given, the maximum force is given in grams. You may get 30 grams or 28 grams or any other thing. You have to calculate. That will depend on the tip radius. So what is the skid? In the features, we have to discuss the stylus of probe, the skid or shoe. So already we're using a single skid. It's employed. The radius will be in the direction of traverse, and that movement should not be less than 50 times the sampling length. So whatever sampling length value you are taking, suppose the particular production method is not specified, you take a sampling length of minimum of 0.8 mm, or according to the production method you have seen in the previous tables. That if you just try to work in the industry only, try to refer the tables like you are referring the data books, the steam tables or the design data books or the refrigeration tables, all that. So in case of two skids, if you are using two skids, the radius should not be less than 8 times the sampling length. That's very important. This is a very important objective type. Most of the competitive exams like GATE or RRB or SSC, all that you have to discuss. Okay. So, and that is about the stylus of probe skid. And what you can discuss apart from that, in the Taylor-Hobson Taliescope, what you have discussed to magnify the stylus movement amplifier, you can discuss. You can discuss the demodulator, which is smoothing the waveform. Because if you are not smoothing the waveform, the recorder will not accept the irregular waveforms. And you can discuss the display unit or the indicating unit. And apart from that, the analyzer, how to analyze the traces, Okay, we have sufficient time, another 10 minutes. So we'll go shall we go further, or because tomorrow we are planning for the problems or any other thing which is left behind as far as the syllabus or the unit is concerned. So we'll just quickly go to this analyze of the particular traces we have got through surface finish. That already we have seen, but I want to discuss because the parameters used in surface finish or the numerical assessment of surface finish is very important topic that you should not leave. And this one we just 11.9 topic. So analysis of surface traces we have. So the maximum peak to valley height already we have seen. This is the roughness height, and this is the most common method used for measurement of surface roughness by the index method, by the roughness index, the RA. But it's not a complete definition of roughness, because we have seen in the two cases. This is the first case and the second case. The peak to valley height is same. So just try to see the peak to valley height is same. But what about the frequency of irregularities? This is only two we have. We have here 4. The frequency of irregularities are different. And you can easily say, with a particular knowledge on this particular chapter, the second surface is more rough. Whenever we are having the peaks and valleys more, that means it's rough when we compare to the first one. More rough means more value of RA, maybe closer to 12.5 or 6.3 or 25. Here we can have the lesser value, maybe 3.2 or 1.6. So that is the thing we can have. And the second one is the this method, whatever we are speaking of the maximum peak to valley height of roughness, this is more advantageous when the condition of the surface will be likely to exert an important influence on such properties. That's because we have to correlate the surface roughness to the material science or the type of metal we are taking. And again, we have to correlate this to the design engineering, where or strength of materials part, where we have to take the properties such as fatigue resistance. Because fatigue is a word which we commonly use. If we try to do more exercise or we try to work harder, the physical work, fatigue is word also. So you have to offer resistance. So just like nowadays, we're going for this one, the Tika, the doses. So the body is being, the immunity is being developed after 2 weeks time. But before that 2 weeks time, if we are not taking proper precautions, so we are not offering any resistance to that particular. We have to be very careful. So that's why we are taking that one. I just try to just give an example. So it's a medical sense, that one. Here we are talking about the instrumentation of metrology part and the design engineering part. So like that, we can have root mean square RMS value. Just try to be conscious of the abbreviations, because some are not attending classes, and afterwards they try to say that today less number, Friday we are expected. I don't know how to refine you. Some say that it's the railway mail service or something, because I'm not joking. They are writing in the scripts we have seen as the like, and this RMS value you can take for different ordinates. The square root of the ordinates, y1, y square. So here in this peak we have up to 6, and from 7 to 12 we have, and like that we can divide them like that here. And like that we can have the formula for this one. HRMS is equal to root over h1 square plus h2 square plus h3 square plus root so on till hn square by n. So we have to refer or draw this figure, and we have to L is the sampling length, capital L, and we have to divide that into number of equal parts. So, and in that particular peak, we try to name the heights as h1, h2, h3, so on till hn. Like that, how many number of peaks are there? We try to have that. So already I told you an example for the sine wave form. What is the relation between the HRMS and the CLA value? It is 1.11 CLA. So just try to refer IC Gupta or any other standard textbook we have. Centerline average. Centerline average is only the average of the ordinates. H1 plus H2 plus H3 plus H1 by n. But finding this CLA value like this is a very laborious job, and you have to just take care of the spacing between the irregularities. That's also there, spacing between the ordinates. So the best method of choosing the or going for the CLA value is rather taking the instead of taking the heights, we can take the areas A1, A2, A3. So CLA value can be having a second formula A1 plus A2 plus A3 plus so on till L. This is most accurate than the first one, rather than taking the ordinates, because the spacing between the ordinates may not be correct. You don't have correct instrumentation to measure the spacing. But for the area, we have a planimeter. So we can find the area by using the planimeter. That's what we have asked while discussing this particular topic previously. So how to determine the mean line is given here. So the correction is how you take the correction sigma sum of the areas above minus sigma sum of the areas below by L, capital L. What is capital L? Sampling length. That's how you try to calculate the correction. Here it's not given the formula, but I just given you that how to go for the correction. Okay, yes, given, but some of the things you may overlook, but here you just try to see what is the sum of the areas above A1, A3, A5, A7. That's what I told you. Sigma, sum of minus difference, the areas below A2, A4, A6, A8. That is the correction you have to apply. And this correction you have to add to the assumed line algebraically. So it will give the actual mean line. Your assumed mean line is this one y dash, but your actual mean line should be this one, because that is the datum line you are taking into consideration for calculation of the center line average. So that is that how you can have that. So Talisoft, Taylor-Hobson Talisoft as a built-in arrangement. That's why I told you that instrument is very advantageous when we compare to the Tomlinson surface meter, because it's a built-in arrangement for integrating the areas. The calculations, everything you can get that, just like an inbuilt stabilizer for the washing machine or the AC or the fridge. We have that integrating the areas, and the average values is directly given instead of calculating manually. So CLA value, the centerline average value, does not give any idea regarding the greatest extent in the nature of the surface irregularities, because if we have the surface irregularities more or in-depth surface irregularities you have, the centerline average will not give. So its main advantages, main disadvantages as for the centerline average, that in-depth irregularities you cannot measure, and any surface characteristics are very vastly differing, then also it's quite it's not found to be satisfactory. That's a disadvantage. And actually, we have any radical changes in the production methods, the manufacturing processes also, you don't have any control over the production method while you are machining, then the CLA value is not applicable. So you can go for more accurate the numerical assessments like RA and RZ. So RZ is quite found to be more advantageous, because it is taking the 5 peaks and 5 valleys into consideration, the 10-point height of irregularities method. RZ అనుకుంటా ఎగ్జామ్లో 10-point height of irregularities method అంటే మీరు అది డైరెక్ట్గా RZ అని అర్థం. సో అందుకే మీరు క్లాస్ వినాలి. 42 మంది ఒక శ్రీకృష్ణదేవరాయలు కొలువులో 8 మంది అష్టదిగ్గజాలలాగా మీరు అందరూ మేధావులు అనుకుంటే కాదమ్మా. అంటే వచ్చిన వాళ్ళని వచ్చిన వాళ్ళకే చెప్తున్నా, మీరు చెప్తారని రాని వాళ్ళకి. ఓకే, సో విల్ స్టాప్ హియర్. టుమారో విల్ గో ఫర్ ద uncovered portion of the syllabus or the problems if you have for the this particular thing like center line average or RA value or object, we'll try to cover. That may be useful when you ask the problems in this particular unit or for the competitive exams. So just try to finish off now. Thank you for patient clearing all the 42 or 45 people. Some are just because Friday 4th hour you may be hungry. Okay, I'll stop and tomorrow we'll continue the unit. Thank you for patient listening.